You are listening to Following On. So it's a new head coach, but the same old problems for England as they lose the first T20 against India by 7 wickets. India chasing down 133 inside of 13 overs. I'm Andrew McKenna, and I'll be joined by the England cricket legend David Bumble Lloyd and the former IPL batter Abhishek Sharma to look back at all the action from Eden Gardens. We'll be discussing England's problems against spin, how Brendan McCullum fixes it, Abhishek's brutal knock, and can England bounce back ahead of Saturday's second T20? We'll also hear from the England captain Jos Buttler as well, so plenty to come over the next 20 minutes or so. This is Following On. Well, deep breath everybody, deep breath, because this is going to take some dissecting, it's going to take some explaining, it's going to take some understanding. India won the toss in Kolkata and decided that England could bat first. England were bowled out from the final ball of their 20 overs for 132. Making more than half of that was Jos Buttler, 68 from 44 balls faced. But Phil Salt, a 3-ball duck, Ben Duckett, 4 from 4, Liam Livingstone, 0 from 2, Harry Brooks, 17 from 14, Jamie Overton 2 from 4, Gus Atkinson 2 from 13, Adil Rashid was 8 not out from 11, Jofra Archer 12 from 10, Mark Wood run out, coming from the non-strikers end from the final ball, 1 from 1, England 1-3-2 all out, as I say. 2 for 17 for Arshdeep, 2 for 42 for Hardik, 3 for 23 for Chakravarti, 2 for 22 for Akshar, and Bishnoi 0 for 22 from 4. So it was going to be fairly straightforward for India, but we didn't think it would be this straightforward. 133 for 3 in just 12 overs and 5 balls. Abhishek Sharma, 79 from 34 balls. He was the third man out at 125 for 3 in the 12th over. The first man was Sanju Samson, 41 for 1 in the 5th. He'd made 26 from 20. Surya Kumar Yadav made a 3-ball duck as he launched something from Jofra Archer straight up in the air. And maybe there was a little window of opportunity, but Abhishek very, very firmly shut that off. Tilak Varma and Hardik Pandya finished the job, 19 not out and 3 not out respectively. And it was all over, as I say, inside 13 overs. I turned to the former England coach David Lloyd alongside me. Look, there's no shame being beaten by a better side, but boy, I mean, that wasn't just a beating, that was a pummeling.
There are 4 matches, so they've got to get things right or improve dramatically for Saturday. What I've seen today is uncomplicated play from the India batters, strong, powerful play, and I thought that England were overcomplicated. They were very static in the play, and when you look at the attack of India, no express pace, but a lot of guile, round about 130 Ks with slower deliveries, 3 spinners into the attack with lovely rhythmical actions, but the ball not spinning on an excellent pitch. England were looking for things that just weren't there. As I say, overcomplicated and just not simple play. Buttler plays brilliantly and nobody stayed with him. Some naive shots to be dismissed. India came into bat against pace, so there's a big difference. No pace from India, big pace from England, and they took it on. And these young batters played wonderfully well and found the boundaries. 8 sixes, Abhishek, 8 sixes against this England attack.
Right, I want to come back to Jos Buttler. Played brilliantly, 68 from 44. In a T20 innings, there are 120 balls available to you. Jos Buttler was out 2 balls into the 17th over, having made 68 from, I'll say it again, 44 balls only. England let their captain down. He did not face enough deliveries. The others did not get their captain back on strike enough, did they?
Well, I just think that's clever play, that you get the foreign player, and he was the foreign player, and you work it out quickly in a 2020 match. You work it out that he's on strike, he's finding the boundary, he's in form, give him the strike. So you've got to be busy. You've got to give him the strike, get your ones, turn your ones into twos, and your role is also to find the boundary and support. he didn't have anybody to support him throughout the innings, and so he's doing it all on his own. And so that's where England have to improve, to stay with, build partnerships. I mean, how often do we say that in any form of cricket? Build partnerships, and England never got a partnership going at all.
Today is a day to be called, Abhishek. We'll bring in our own Abhishek Junjunwala in a minute, but we need to hear from Abhishek Sharma. He's just been speaking with Ravi Shastri.
So we've got Abhishek Sharma with us. Abhishek, well played today. That was fabulous entertainment.
Thank you so much, sir.
You were hitting those sixes as if you were playing some club cricket there.
No, thanks a lot. It was just, I just wanted to express myself. I've said this before as well. And I want to do the special mention to the captain and coach, because the freedom they have given to us, even the target wasn't that much, but the way they've been talking to us as a youngster, I think that was really tremendous.
What was the pitch like, Abhishek? Because there was the fast bowlers, when they let it rip, it went through nicely.
I think it was sticking a bit, and it was getting a bit extra bounce, double pace wicket bit. But the way our bowler bowled, I think that was pretty much good. And I thought we're gonna, chase something around 160, 170. But the way they bowled, I think that was really good.
Good start. You showed great maturity there, because at the start it was Sanju who was the aggressor, and you took your time.
Yes, we've been always talking to each other. I think as a partner, we always do this. And whenever he's hitting, I just enjoy at the other end.
Abhishek, DPL, very well played again.
Thank you, sir.
Abhishek, tell us about your process. Is it just watch the ball and play the ball, or do you have a thought process behind it? Do you have a game plan behind every innings?
I think it's obviously just go and express myself and just watch out and just play. And even when I just came for the first time in the Indian team, and the plan was pretty much simple, because the way I played in the IPL, that really helped me in this. And but here as well, I've never seen like team environment like this, and captain backing you up, like always saying that go and just express yourself. And from the first day, he's been told me that just go and hit your shots, whatever you want, even if it's the first ball. I think when it's coming from the captain, it means a lot as a youngster, and I've been doing that.
Just seeing your trigger movements today, you get into good positions early, and your positions could differ. Sometimes you're right back and across, sometimes you look to give yourself room.
Yeah, it was pretty much simple. I was practicing this before this match, and I think the way they bowled, I was pretty much ready for this plan, and I knew they're gonna ball me short, and they're gonna check my patience as well. So I just had a pretty plan, and it executed really well.
Abhishek Sharma speaking with the TV crew at the end of the game. Well, let's bring in Abhishek Junjunwala. Look, lots of people, if you don't follow Indian cricket that closely, they know the names Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli. They've been the galactic stars of recent times. We've got another one here, haven't we? We've got the potential for, I mean, if he carries on playing like this, there's going to be eyes on Abhishek Sharma.
What I picked up from that interview, he mentioned that it was a double pace wicket and it was ticking. What's he going to do if the ball is coming onto the bat nicely? That's my question, Bumble. What's he going to do when it's flat?
I thought that was a really good interview, and Ravi Shastri conducts the interview, and he's a young kid. He kept saying youngster, and he just let him flow, which is what his batting does. He said one thing in there: I want to thank the captain and the coach, because it's a great environment. I wonder what the environment was like in the test team. You know, all the big shots aren't playing. The BCCI, as we talked earlier, have cracked the whip. You can't turn up to the ground in your car. That young chap there has said we've got a great environment. It's a young team.
Yeah, it's a very young team, and also the freedom he mentioned about getting that freedom from the captain and the coach, that if you feel like you can hit the ball for a six, the first delivery, go for it. We are backing you. And when you have that sort of a backing from the team management, especially the coach and the captain, as a young player, how much confidence do you get once you are out there?
And also he talked about the pace of England bowlers, and he'd obviously done his homework, that they'd come at me with pace. I know I was going to get the short ball. Ravi Shastri said sometimes you're deep in the crease, sometimes you're giving yourself room. So he's worked it out. He's obviously watched the two express bowlers as to how they would bowl, and he scored 8 sixes, is it, there in that innings. We looked at how many fours, forget the fours. Is it 8 sixes against an England pacey attack? So they move on to Chennai now. Do England, as they've said, we're going to give everybody a goal, do they continue with out-and-out pace or use a little bit more guile, as India did with the ball?
Well, that's a great question, because, as Bumble mentioned, Saturday is in Chennai, and traditionally that means spin. But at the moment, England's better suit is nominally the seam bowlers. And India's spinners today, 5 for 67 off 12. So, actually, I'll amend that. India's slower bowlers, because you made the point earlier, Bumble, they barely turned the ball all day because that was what was required on the pitch.
It was a super pitch, and they haven't turned a ball, but they've got lovely actions, rhythmical actions. Axar Patel is quite tall and he fires the ball in left-arm spin, but 2 leg spinners out of the front of the hand, out of the back of the hand, but they all bowl quite quickly at 90 k's into the pitch, no flight at all. And so, before this series started, I was reading that India are thinking, should we play 3 spinners against England? Play 4 if you want.
Especially in Chennai in the next match. And also what these bowlers do, Varun Chakravarti and Ravi Bishnoi, because they've got such fast arm action, the way they release the ball as a batter, if you don't play them enough, it's very hard to pick which one is going to turn. You're still watching them very closely. The googly is very hard to pick. We saw the ball deviate a little bit, but that's enough for you to get out.
But the way Abhishek played, we talked about the bugle call. He was down the pitch, meted on the half volley. England against India's spinners, I think we're looking for something that's not there. It's not going to spin. We look very, very static at the crease. And the way to combat that, if it's not spinning, put all the action onto the bowler, come down the pitch, meet it on the half volley, which means good footwork. You've got to have good footwork.
Yeah. And that's what I mentioned earlier, that the moment I've seen England players, the moment the ball spins or the spinners are operating, they only have 2 options, Bumble. Either they go for a slog sweep or a reverse sweep. They don't have the third option. But if you want to score runs and be successful in India, as you mentioned, you've got to use your feet. You've got to get to the pitch of the ball. Otherwise, you're not going to score runs.
Well, all I'd say is all the great players that we've seen over the years, if they're adept at playing spin, it ain't from the reverse sweep. They come down the pitch and they meet it on the half volleys. It's one of the great shots to play is a half volley. What shot do you want to play? Oh, I want to play a half volley. I want to get down the pitch. If you want to play half volleys, you've got to come down the pitch.
And also on Indian pitches, you're better off presenting the full face of the bat. If you look at the Indian batters, majority of them, they don't go for those fancy shots. They don't go for the scoofs, the loofs, all that shot. They just try to hit down the ground majority of the shots, and that's why they're successful.
Sometimes you need to be outside looking in. So I'm going to ask you, Abhishek, to have a look at England. So we've had Jofra Archer, 4 overs, 2 for 21. Mark Wood, 1 ball short of 3 overs, 0 for 25. They went at 5 1/4 and 8.8. Gus Atkinson went at 19 and over. 2 overs have cost 38. Is it too simplistic to say that Atkinson probably doesn't play in Chennai and England therefore get their extra spinner in or slower bowler in for Atkinson?
I think if Gus Atkinson wants to play in India and wants to be successful in India, with his pace, he's not going to be successful unless he can bowl different balls, unless he has the slower delivery, the Yorkers and those change-ups. But what we saw today, it was pretty predictable from him. As a batter, you know what's coming. He's going to bowl around that 125 kilometers an hour, which for nowadays, they're just going to sit you and hit wherever they fancy if you don't have that variety of deliveries, and you can execute those deliveries as well.
How quick is the pitch in Chennai compared to, because we thought this was quick. We've mentioned the fact that Mark Wood was over 150 kilometres an hour. For those who work in miles an hour still, that's 93 miles an hour. 150 is 93 to give you the comparison. So would Chennai be traditionally slower? So in other words, is the pitch going to blunt, if you like, Jofra Archer and Mark Wood a little bit more? I think they'll find it very difficult to bowl 150 kilometers an hour in Chennai, because Eden Gardens, I feel, is one of the quickest pitches in India at the moment, alongside Chinnaswamy in Bangalore. But Chennai traditionally is slow and low, so you're going to find it very difficult to get that bounce which you got in Eden Gardens.
If you look at Atkinson, he's had a bad day. I would stick with Atkinson. I think he's a much better bowler than what we've seen today. He's just had a bad day. But when you get to Chennai, traditionally you'd think it'd be a slower pitch than this, and you just got to box clever a little bit. And we saw, I'm just going back to the Indian quicker bowlers. they were clever. They were savvy and bowling little leg cutters, off cutters with no great pace. About 130k, we get excited at 150k. We've seen 150k go out the ground here, but at 130, they just controlled the game for a long time. Then the spinners came on with these lovely actions, didn't spin a ball. England were looking for shots that weren't there. They were very static at the crease, and I think you've got to be a lot more proactive than that. 5 matches, T20 matches can change, series can change. Started badly, improve on that. I would be quite relaxed if I'm in that camp and say, I hope we can improve. We need to improve. We will improve and sort it out at Chennai.
Well, I mean, it's a good point, actually. I mean, 133 is England's second lowest total in India in T20s. If you want the lowest, 127 in Bangalore in 2017. So it didn't work with the bat. And with the ball, India knocking them off in that manner has given England their worst loss in terms of balls remaining in a T20 game. 43 today, beating Australia in Melbourne in 2018 when they won in 33 balls. So does that back up what you were just saying there, Bumble, about, well, maybe you go with the same team and say, well, OK, because you can't really scapegoat one side of the game, batting or bowling, because neither worked.
Well, I would say the batting's let England down there. Chasing 160, 170, it's a different game completely. You've got to approach it differently. I was impressed with the young Indian batters. They had no fear whatsoever. The crowd was excellent. It was a good raucous crowd back in the home team, as it should be. But England had no answer today. They just didn't have an answer. And we come back to Buttler plays so well, nobody stays with him. The damage was done. 132 not out. They're going to blitz it. Gambier's going to say, right, boys, off you go. Finish this in 12 overs. I've got a dinner date. I want to get out for dinner tonight. Get it done with. Don't mess around.
Right. The England captain, Jos Buttler, has just been speaking with Harsha Bhogle.
Tell us about the batting. Your own batting, of course. I know you're a soft-spoken person, but your own batting versus the others, it seemed different when you were batting. Was it just a learning curve?
No, I think there was a little bit in the wicket early on, and probably didn't expect that. I thought it looked like a really good wicket. So yeah, they found a little bit of movement, and we lost a couple of wickets. But I think if you come through that phase, it's a pretty good pitch, and obviously a really fast-scoring ground here.
If you had to look back at this game, the batting against spin, I used the word learning curve before. Is that what it is for some genuinely good players? Yeah, a little bit. Look, we have some really good players in there, and obviously you want to enforce the game that you want to play, and we weren't quite capable of doing that today against some good bowlers, but we're better for the run out, and we're looking forward to the next one. The positives, it's always good to look at the positives, isn't it? Jofra Archer looked good today? Yeah, he did. He always looks good. He's a superstar. He looked threatening. Thought he could add a few more wickets there, and Mark Wood was bowling fast as well. So, yeah, to see the two of them operate in tandem is exciting. Going ahead, is that how England's going to play T20 cricket, with just bowlers bowling rockets from both ends? I think there's a little bit of that, yeah. I think we want to be aggressive, we want to be watchable. We're up against a team who are ultra aggressive as well, so it's really exciting. But obviously, venue to venue, you've got to assess the conditions and play well. The new coach, for you, the new coach in the white ball game, said he wanted you to rediscover the joy for the game. I don't think you ever left it. No, there's always there. I think sometimes, sometimes you wear the results, or you're just always desperate to do well. But no, I'm really enjoying the environment. As I'm a big McCullum fan. I always was when he was playing and stuff. So great to be working with him in the dressing room now.
There you go then, Jos Buttler speaking with Harsha Bhogle just a couple of moments ago at the presentation ceremony. Looking forward to working with Brendan McCullum. Going to enjoy working with Brendan McCullum as England white ball coach. It appears, though, David Lloyd, there is work to do.
Well, there is. I mean, there's one thing that he said there is we're better for the run out. Well, we'll see when they get to Chennai. The other thing that I thought he was a bit abrupt there. Harsha Bhogle is a really accomplished operator, and I thought he was a bit angry. Jos Buttler, he is soft-spoken. One of them interviews where you don't actually want to be there. I've been there. I've got that T-shirt where you can be a little bit more abrupt than you should be. It's a bad loss for England, is that. They lose in 13 overs. It's a bit of a shellacking. And so they must improve when they get to Chennai. Interesting, if he does stick with the quick bowlers, have a look at that pitch at Chennai. If he's going to spin, you might have to put another spin option in. And so it might not be that we're going to keep hitting you with these quick bowlers, because the young Indian batters were really up to it.
In terms of Jos and Brendan McCullum going forward, it feels like it should be a good working relationship. Obviously they know each other anyway, and they seem similar kind of characters. It is something that needs to be there, doesn't it? You know, you've been there. You can't have a captain who wants to sort of do it one thing and a coach wants to do it a different way. It has to be a partnership.
Well, it has. And a T20, in particular in white ball, T20, there's no hiding place. And I think there's been a lesson there from India. These are young players. That I always bristle a bit when I hear, is this a learning curve for your young team? England, there's some very accomplished players in there. It's not a learning curve at all. The learning curve was for India. And so when you get a combination of coach and captain who are very aggressive, they both are, they want to play in a positive way, the message would be, I want you to play better. They've got to play a lot better than they have in this game here. They were naive.
How do you address that in a team meeting? You know, just simply say, come on lads, we've made some poor mistakes?
We're off and running, boys. That's the first one. We've been defeated. I want you to play like you've never played before. I want you to play well and just move out. And they get the message. They get the message. They ain't happy. Boss ain't happy. We've got to improve. I'm not bothered about the bowlers. The bowlers are on a hiding to nothing today. Them lads are going to come out and take you to the cleaners. They did. The batting was substandard, except for the captain, and nobody stayed with him. You've got to use your savvy. You've got to stay with him. He's in form, knock it around. Last 5 overs, we're going to really clatter it with about 6 or 7 wickets in hand. We were 6 down after 11.
Well, one man who's probably enjoyed his day very much today, the Indian captain, Suryakumar Yadav, just speaking with Harsha as well.
Right, where do I start, Surya? Where do I start? So many things to be happy about today. What pleased you the most?
I think the energy, the way we started after winning the toss, I think that set the benchmark, and we took it from there. All the bowlers having their own plans, executing that, having good energy on the ground, and the way we batted, I think it was icing on the cake.
I was very interested in seeing the choice of players that you picked today, because there was a fair amount of green. Was it because you read the pitch that way that you picked so many spinners, or was it the numbers in the England camp that suggested that it was a better way?
We wanted to stick to our strengths. We did the same thing when we played in South Africa on those wickets, and similar, Hardik took that responsibility of bowling with the new ball. So I had a little bit of cushion to play that extra spinner, and those 3 of them are doing a wonderful job.
I've spoken to Varun Chakravarti a little earlier as well. What is he doing so much better now?
He's keeping things very, very simple. He's clear in his mind. I think most important, his preparations are on point, and that's what makes him different from others.
Isn't Arshdeep Singh looking better with every game?
I think with experience, he's learning a lot, taking that extra responsibility. He knew that he was the only bowler who could bowl with the new ball today, and then it was Hardik, so he took that responsibility, and he's been doing it regularly, so I'm very happy for him.
So when Abhishek and Sanju go out to bat, is there any conversation at all, or do you just say go, go, go?
I mean, there's a lot of freedom being given by Gauti, and we just want to play a little bit different what we did in 2024 T20 World Cup, and we have our plans. We're batting with the same way, and I'm very happy the way they're going. You
mentioned the energy at the start. You must have been very happy with the fielding. It was top class today.
I think that's one area I've been talking to them that we do all together on the ground. We've been working really hard with our fielding coach in all the sessions, and so there's only one demand from him, that we have good energy. Let's take those half chances and make a difference, and that's what everyone is doing.
The Indian captain, Suryakumar Yadav, and no wonder he sounded so happy, laughing and joking with Harsha Bhogle. His team have absolutely done a number on England today, beating England inside 13 overs, chasing down 133 that they needed, only 3 wickets down. So India 1-0 up. We'll do it all again on Saturday as the caravan moves on to Chennai, and England, well, they're going to want to win there. They don't want to go 2-0 down in a 5-match series, because that will be very, very difficult indeed. Today, well, they found it really difficult. It was a fantastic match to bring you.